Syracuse men's basketball this past week has been road tripping. SU went into Chestnut Hill and took down Boston College. That snapped a 3-game losing skid. Then, behind 26 points from senior Joe Girard, the Cuse marched into Tallahassee and defeated Florida State. Now the Orange are back to home cooking. Syracuse can extend its win streak to 3 when it takes on number 22 NC State next. We'll tell you everything you need to know about the matchup in the Dome on Cuse Countdown, which starts right now. Welcome into the CitrusTV studio for Cuse Countdown with Jack Gordon and Leo Silverman. I'm Ben Spector, and guys, what a past 2 games it has been for the Orange.
Yeah, I don't know about that. A couple of wins. I don't know about the level of talent they played, Ben.
That's 2 wins.
2 wins is 2 wins. I mean, let's keep it a streak, though. Let's keep it going.
A win is a win on the schedule, but in Syracuse men's basketball's win over Florida State last night, it was a tale of 2 halves. SU went into the break down 6 and put on a 47-point second-half performance to secure the victory. A big reason why? Well, guard Joe Girard put on a show. The senior tallied 26 points, shot over 50% from the floor, and hit 5 3-pointers. That's now 2 straight where Girard has finished with over 15 points, and this comes after 2 consecutive 7-point outings last week. Plus, Judah Mintz contributed 14 second-half points, so the backcourt helped propel the Cuse to its 8th conference win in 2022-2023 season. Jack, the second half was all Syracuse, but what else contributed to the strong performance in the second frame?
Listen, Ben, you just said it. I mean, Judah Mintz, 14 points in that second half. That's killer. He was the engine that made this team go. He was the spark plug for them. Judah Mintz did great.
Glad to hear Judah Mintz always doing well, Jack. And I was happy to see they were able to pull away because this game was close towards like the 7-minute mark in the second half. And this team, they got together, they got some big turnovers, pushed the offensive tempo, and made sure this one wasn't close.
Syracuse capitalized on opportunities when it needed to. A big theme this season, not closing out games well. Syracuse able to close it out in Tallahassee against Florida State. And we addressed it a little bit, but Joe Girard, really the superstar on this Syracuse team as of recent. The last 2 games, he's just been on fire. Against Boston College, the senior put up 18 points that finished second on the team. And against FSU, led the squad with 26. So, Leo, what has made Girard so good after an abysmal 2-game stretch last week where you combined for just 14 points?
Well, then I think Jack alluded to it. The level of talent he was playing just wasn't that good. I don't really know if I'm going to call Joe Girard back until I see him perform against one of these top-tier ACC teams.
Like an NC State, maybe.
Like an NC State. Well, that's an easy one to pick out from. But, when you look at some of the games that he's gone cold, it's against those big opponents. 2 of 8, 25% from the field at Virginia Tech, 7 points. 3 of 12, 25% from the field, 7 points against Virginia. You have to do better if you're going to be the star shooter on the squad.
Leo, the way you describe that makes it sound like he's kind of streaky or something.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, I think this might be the start of a hot streak for Joe Girard. 26 points, 5 of 8 from 3, and 9 for 16 from the field overall. There's no denying that is a good start to maybe a hot streak. Syracuse certainly needs it with the games that they're about to play. They need Joe Girard to heat up right now, Leo.
So we got some disagreement early between Jack and Leo on the state of Joe Girard, but from one senior to another entering this season, Jesse Edwards was expected to man the front court. The senior put up 3 straight double-doubles in non-conference play earlier this year, but flipped the script to the ACC slate, and life hasn't been too kind to the center. Sure, Edwards put up a 20-point double-double against Miami, contributed a career-high 27 points last weekend against Boston College, and just contributed 18 in Tallahassee against Florida State. But he's also had duds. UNC, Virginia Tech, those games he didn't really show up. Jack, what has contributed to this inconsistency from Edwards?
It's really the rhythm of the game for Jesse Edwards. Sometimes he falls behind with these mental lapses, a lack of focus sometimes. It's his footwork, sometimes he starts to move way too quickly. He's not thinking enough. I don't love the way Jesse Edwards plays because he's got all the talent in the world, but he can't put it together with his head.
Jack, I don't know how much agreeing we'll be doing throughout the show here, but I'm fully with you here. Jesse Edwards is still struggling from mental errors, and it's back. You could see it in the foul trouble as well. It's been a career-long thing with Jesse Edwards. And what were the 2 last games that he fouled out of this season so far? Oh, just the 2 biggest games they played in the Dome, against UNC and against number 6 Virginia. Gotta be better from Jesse Edwards in those big games if we're gonna call him the star center.
Maybe he also needs to develop a post move. Offensively, he could be having some ups and downs, some troubles there. But staying in the front court, the forwards have also been inconsistent this season. Chris Bell's minutes have been up and down. Malik Brown even replaced Benny Williams in the starting lineup, something you don't see very often from a Jim Boeheim-led squad. But Jack, what has led to the rough season for the forward group?
Listen, Ben, I think it's the start of what the expectations were. I mean, Chris Bell, Benny Williams, they were supposed to just start off hot, hit the ground running, and be a couple of key contributors on offense for Syracuse. I don't think there's anything wrong with anyone expecting that from them. They just certainly haven't lived up to it. But one big thing that I think Syracuse has lacked, Jim Boeheim's not trusting them. The biggest thing to point out here, the Virginia game, Jim Boeheim pulled Chris Bell after 14 seconds, Leo. I mean, are you kidding me? There's no trust in this forward group.
You talked about those 14 seconds there, Jack, and when Chris Bell left the court in that Virginia game, Justin Taylor entered. And Leo, I know you're very eager. You got a lot of Justin Taylor information you want to share.
Yeah, Ben, the freshmen are certainly the talk of the town right now in Syracuse, and I'm going to spotlight one who seems to have a bit of a confidence issue, and if he gets over it, could be honestly the best shooter on this entire squad this season and going forward. It's Justin Taylor. But first, you're not going to get to meet Justin Taylor. We're going to meet JT, the guy who's confident shooting that three-point ball. We'll go down to Blacksburg, Syracuse against Virginia Tech here with our first play, and it's a simple, pick-and-roll option, throw it inside of Malik Brown. You see the kick-out come across, and look at JT. Really far out past the three-point line. Contested defender in his face. Does it matter? Absolutely not. Just sinks that three-pointer. Fluid shot, and he'd end up hitting 4 more of those in that exact game. But he doesn't always show up. JT isn't always showing up. Sometimes you get Justin Taylor. And we're going to move on to the big game against Virginia in the Dome very recently, where we see Justin Taylor just struggle with what seems like confidence issues. We'll roll this play, and you're going to see it's similar sort of action. They're going to try to get inside here and kick back out. And look at this. The bench knows that Justin Taylor can hit this three. It's a similar spot to against Virginia Tech. But does he decide to pull that three? Are we seeing JT tonight? I don't know. I don't think so, because he's going to take this ball, bring it down, and throw it inside, and nearly goes for a turnover. And the worst part is this play is going to roll all the way through. Jesse Edwards is going to try to get down close to the rim, and who's open in the corner? It's Justin Taylor for three. No. He misses that one because he just wasn't feeling confident. And if Justin Taylor can get confident, I think he could be the most fluid shooter on this entire squad.
Well, Leo, I'm sure that Syracuse fans would love to see a lot more JT for the rest of the season. But it's break time here on Cuse Countdown. On the other side, we'll tell you everything you need to know about the 22nd ranked NC State Wolfpack. Don't go anywhere. CC, back in 90 seconds.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go. Excellent. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
We're back here on Cuse Countdown alongside Jack Gordon and Leo Silverman. I'm Ben Spector. Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, middle of the pack defense in the ACC for NC State, but this offense is legit. Terquavion Smith leads the team and the ACC in scoring with nearly 19 points per game, and the Wolfpack have the #1 scoring offense in the ACC. So Jack, how will this offense attack the SU 2-3 zone?
Ben, this offense wants to move fast. They're usually in a 3-guard lineup, and they play with a lot of tempo. This NC State team, just out of sheer volume of shots, they've taken over 130 more shots than the next most team. You know who that is? Syracuse. They like to get out, run, and shoot, and I think they're going to do that against this zone.
And Jack, it's hard to believe just on the surface how much scoring this team has done completely when looking over the squad. I mean, you're talking about Terquavion Smith who shoots 16 shots per game, but there's nearly 4 guys averaging 12 points per game on this squad. It just speaks volumes about this coaching staff for the Wolfpack.
Well, one thing the coaching staff has preached all season long, that's togetherness. The Wolfpack have 4 players that average double figures, and head coach Kevin Keats praises the team chemistry. Take a listen.
What I was impressed about tonight was when you look at it is, yes, T had the hot hand similar to DJ at Wake Forest, but, DJ with 15, and Jarkel with 14, Casey throws in 10, LJ comes off and gives 7, and so we're a really good team when everybody's contributing and when it's spread out through everybody. And, it's good. Man, hopefully somebody else will have 30 again and we win. Now, I don't like 30 and you lose. I like 30 and always winning.
Lots of contributors offensively for this Wolfpack squad. NC State has been winning a lot this season. Leo, the Wolfpack sit at 5th in the conference, and the chemistry has been there throughout the entirety of the season.
Yeah, but it's all down to Coach Keats in my mind. I am a big fan of Coach Keats. I mean, it's, when we talk about college basketball, you don't always see the most, complicated offensive schemes. It's a lot of pick and rolls, throw it inside, kick out for a 3. But Coach Keats, we're talking about Terquavion Smith, who I know we'll be touching on a lot more going forward. They're running pin down screens with this guy. They have a bunch of off-ball screen movement. Everybody's moving around, and it's all because of Coach Keats setting up this offense for success.
Great job by the coaching staff, but how about the execution by the veterans on this team? I mean, Burns is a grad student, Joyner a grad student, Morcell a senior, and Smith in his 2nd year with the squad. This team is riddled with veterans, and they have great leadership. This Wolfpack team knows where they're going because of that leadership and intelligence of this group.
So we've talked about the leadership a little bit. Let's get into the players. We talked about it ad nauseum. Terquavion Smith, the offense goes through the guard, averages nearly 19 points per contest, leads the team in assists with nearly 5 per game. Jack, he is this NC State offense.
Ben, he's the offense that makes this team go. He's got a quick trigger. You'll see him shoot from anywhere. He's a real creative scorer. He can score from outside, pulling deep threes, but he's also really crafty when he gets in the paint. Such a hard guy to guard.
Yeah, 6'4". He has the size to go inside, and the shooting splits aren't great, but that's because he's a confident player. You can see that anytime you watch his highlight tape. And whenever the Wolfpack need a bucket, they can go to Smith, and they will find some way to score through that guy.
Well, Leo, another confident player is the Winthrop transfer that has emerged as an inside threat for the Wolfpack. That's DJ Burns Jr., Big South Conference Player of the Year last year, and Leo, he's certainly playing like that this season for NC State.
Yeah, Ben, listen, anything that goes through the paint with this Wolfpack team is with DJ Burns Jr., and you already highlighted it, Jack. 6'9", 275. He's almost got 50 pounds on Jesse Edwards. I am very scared. That's a lot of weight to be thrown around down low, and I'm scared for Jesse Edwards because this guy loves to catch inside, 2 dribbles back down, and hey, he's got the rim right above him.
Leo, there's a reason he played in the Big South. This man is huge. He's very talented too. He's got good post moves, good footwork, a crafty little hook shot, jumper here and there. I have a bad feeling he could take advantage of Jesse Edwards. We'll see though.
Burns doing his work inside the paint, but back to the backcourt we go. Casey Morcell, the Virginia transfer, a pure shooter for NC State, 44% from deep. And Jack, SU just can't leave this guy wide open.
Well, they absolutely can't. And in this 2-3 zone, that's so tough because you're going to have someone like Burns at the high post the whole game. They can feed too. He'll kick out to Morcell. You might have Terquavion Smith cutting into the paint. He'll kick out to Morcell. A 44% shooter, Syracuse does not want him anywhere near open.
Jackie, he's the best pure shooter on this team. 44 from the three, nearly 50 from the field. I feel like he's that sort of Steve Kerr player on the old Bulls. You forget about him, you're too worried about Jordan. Jordan on this squad is Terquavion Smith, and if you forget about him, he's going to hit big-time threes all day, and you mentioned it. Syracuse might just give up 25 to this guy.
Wild comparison from you, Leo, to compare Casey Morcell to Steve Kerr. I understand the role, I understand it. Steve Kerr won a championship team. But while togetherness is key for the Wolfpack players going in left and right, let's not sugarcoat it. We've said it ad nauseum throughout the show. This is Terquavion Smith's offense. So, Jack, how does the NC State put the guard in positions to score so consistently?
Yeah, Ben, there's a reason North Carolina State has the best offense in the ACC. They're scoring about 80 points per game. That's the gold standard right now, and it's because they have the leading scorer in the conference, Terquavion Smith. Over 18 points per game. He's a stud in this conference right now, and it's because he's got a high volume of shots. Over 200 threes this season. That's top 10 in the NCAA. So you must ask yourself, how the heck does this guy get open? They've got defenders draped all over him all the time. So the Wolfpack makes plays like this to get Terquavion open. So Jarkin, the guard, taking the ball up. Terquavion starts in the corner. You have Burns setting the screen to get Morcell open. The second screen comes in for Smith when he gets the ball, and all he needs is about 2 feet of space, takes one step, and drills the three. So a lot of off-ball work for NC State to get Smith open because he constantly gets a lot of attention on him. And it's not just off-ball stuff. They like to work in transition, too. They're a small team. They like to move the ball fast. So plays like this in transition is how they get going. Jarkin starts with it. He pushes to Smith immediately, right when he sees he has space, and he drills a three. Give this guy just 2 feet, even less, and he can make magic happen. That's why he is the best scorer in the ACC right now.
Jack Smith can do it in the half court, he can do it in transition, he can do it all. But another break here on Cuse Countdown, but we've got some fun for you. Jack and Leo will tell you who on Syracuse is going to Twitter to voice concerns. You won't want to miss it. It's Who's Burner, and it's coming up next.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to Cuse Countdown here in our CitrusTV studio with Jack Gordon and Leo Silverman. I'm Ben Spector, and guys, trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers because we're playing Who's Burner. Some tweets that I have in the files. I went on the TL, went on the timeline, looked these things up. I got them in my back pocket. You tell me who you think tweeted these things out. I'm not even going to ask if you're ready because I already know. So the first we got from Dome Dog at 315 for life. He or she, we don't know. Everybody thinks that I'm the bad guy. I'm not sure what I did to make Syracuse basketball fans turn on me like this. Where would they be without me? Jack. Who tweeted this?
All right, listen, first of all, I got to say, 315 for life, that might be me. I love that name.
If it is, you can't just tell the people.
Yeah, that's...
I didn't tweet it. It's not my burner. You know whose burner it is? It's Jim Boeheim's.
Wow.
He's been villainized lately.
You think he can
Not many people are happy with the head man of 47 years, a national championship winner, but he's coming off a losing season. We know that. And he's ruffled some feathers with his recent comments about NIL and his coaching tenure that seems infinite. He's not making too many people happy here in the 315.
He's not making very many people happy. He'd certainly surprise me if he was actually behind this account on Twitter. I'm going to go with a different guy who we know is a little more social media active. Joe Girard.
Does he use Twitter?
I know Joe Girard does.
Okay. That might be a little old for Twitter.
He could
Maybe
be.
just
He
a
could
little.
be. Joe Girard definitely is on Twitter, though, and I think he is. This is him to a T. Now, is he the Joker type villain? No. He's more of a Riddler here because he certainly tricks people. He tricks the fans. You see him pop off for games, 26 points against FSU. He's hitting these amazing deep threes. Everybody's a fan of him. But then he's a villain because once those shots aren't falling, when he's trying to pull up from the bubble and hit crazy threes with a shot clock at 18 seconds, he becomes that villain because they can switch on you that quickly. So I think right now, Joe Girard is a little fed up with how Switch they're clicking on him, and I think he's behind this Twitter account.
Leo, that's just what life is like when you're the star of a team. When you put up 7 points and you lose, people are going to blame you. Jim Boeheim has been facing this blame for an exorbitant amount of time. Jack, I think Jim Boeheim tweeted this out. I think Jim Boeheim, look, he's been in the 315 for life. I mean, maybe hide yourself a little bit better, right? I mean,
maybe he had someone else write it for him. I don't know if he's got Twitter on that
maybe
phone.
have a better burner handle. But yeah, let's just go to the next one. This handle I love. It's the name I love Troy Bolton at Get Ya Ahead in the Game. He says, I feel like I'm all alone on the court every single game. I have no help. That's all caps, no help. Verified account, by the way. Hello? Anyone there? Knock, knock. Who's there? Leo, who's there?
Well, first of all, I think it's Judah Mintz. I'm assuming the NIL deal is why he has Twitter Blue. That's why he's verified. He made sure to purchase Twitter Blue.
When I found these, I didn't click on the check mark, so I don't know.
But there's a good chance.
You don't know. You just don't know.
A verified burner would be the craziest concept ever,
I'm just saying you don't know.
But I think it's Judah Mintz, and you can bet on it here, because, listen, the guy is only 2 points behind leading this team in scoring, behind Joe Girard, while leading the team in assists and steals. So he's getting it done as a playmaker. He's getting it done on the defensive end in that 2-3. And what does he have for help right now? 2 star seniors who don't show up in the biggest games, those quad 2, quad 1 wins. And then the bench is unconfident Justin Taylor and Chris Bell, who gets the hook for maybe taking an extra dribble. So this has to be Judah Mintz.
Listen, Leo, I gotta say, you mentioned a star not showing up at the right time. Well, Joe Girard, I don't think he has any help, and here's why. We talked about Terquavion Smith earlier, the leading scorer in the conference, right? You know who the leading scorer in conference play is? It's Joe Girard. Almost 19 points a game. My man has been on fire, and he's going straight to Twitter to tell everybody, hey, I need some help. I'm getting all the buckets I can get. Please, somebody help this man.
It's crazy that there's no way he thinks Judah is not helping.
Judah helps, but nobody helps Judah down the stretch. I think Judah's behind this account. Judah says, I'm all for one. I need people to help me out. I'm sorry, buddy. I love Troy Bolton. Judah Mintz loves Troy Bolton. You could ask him. But this next one, the future at Give Me the Ball. Coach, you need to put me in another verified account, by the way. How am I supposed to meet expectations when I just don't have a chance? I can be the future, just let me start brewing. And I guarantee when this person wrote it, brewing, a little bit of a circular motion there.
They're trying to stir the pot.
Jack, who stirred the pot?
You know who stirred the pot, Ben? It was Chris Bell. Ooh. It's the guy that plays just under 20 minutes a game and sometimes is in the single digits because, like I said earlier, 14 seconds into Virginia, he got the pull. It's days like that Chris Bell has got to be saying, oh my God, Coach, just please let me play a couple more minutes. He's got the shortest leash on this team, and it's not even close. This coaching staff has no faith in him. Please, let him play. He's a pretty solid shooter, mid-30s, usually about 34% this season. You gotta let him take shots, meaning you gotta let him get minutes.
Well, here's the problem, Jack. You didn't mention the defensive end because Chris Bell is one of the most unreliable players on the defensive end. And what does Jim Boeheim protect so much? The 2-3 defense. So I don't think it'd be Chris Bell. I think it's Justin Taylor, the guy I just harped on, that if he starts playing confidently and shooting.
Justin Taylor or JT?
You know what? Good point.
It's
JT. JT
right.
is upset behind this Twitter account. But Justin Taylor is inhibiting him because he's only taken 94 shots on the season. We're 25 games in. And it's because he's just not getting enough minutes coming out on the court. He's top 5 on this team in steals as well in that 2-3 wing position. There's just so much to love about this guy, and I don't understand why he's not coming into the game at all. This is Justin Taylor calling out for help.
Justin Taylor, I think, is calling out for help. I think Justin Taylor wrote this. I mean, Chris Bell, he's been starting. Sure, he's got a short leash.
You think he's happy, though? You think he's happy?
Yeah, his name gets announced, and he has a little dance with John Bolajak to go, ooh, it's great. It's a great
What
thing.
was that?
It's a great thing. They do it at the end there. It's great. But I think Justin Taylor wrote that tweet as the future. One last break here on CC, though. On the other side, we'll give you our predictions for Syracuse and NC State. Don't go anywhere. It's Citrus TV. Closing up shop here on Cuse Countdown with Jack Gordon and Leo Silverman. I'm Ben Spector. Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, entering this season, the story was the freshmen. 6 new players were joining the program this year. Justin Taylor, Malik Brown, Chris Bell, Judah Mintz, Peter Carey, and Quadir Copeland. 4 of those players really get game action. But Jack, when you look at the freshmen this season, what has the progress been like? Have they grown? Have they regressed? What are your thoughts on the freshman class?
Listen, I think it's time for those report cards to come out, Leo. We gotta see what's going on with these freshmen right now. I'll name a couple right here. We'll go with the forwards. I'm thinking Justin Taylor right now. He's been a great three-point shooter. You know, we've been talking about him this whole show. Over 40%. He's been awesome. I think he's progressed a lot, but Chris Bell, he's really regressed. We've seen some spotty signs. He can hit a 3 here, he can hit a 3 there, but like you talked about, the rebounding is a big, glaring problem, and it hasn't gotten any better.
It really has not at all. And you know who has been able to step up and is my most surprising freshman that has helped with that role? It's Malik Brown. I mean, we're talking all about offense, 3-point shooting. Chris Bell can shoot, Justin Taylor can shoot, but Malik Brown is that intangibles guy, right? He's the, I'm going to fight hard on defense. I'm getting every single rebound. He's come up with so many amazing steals to push this team out in transition as well. So he's certainly my most surprising guy, but the one freshman that we haven't touched on yet somehow is Judah Mintz as well. I mean, Judah Mintz has met those expectations, and I would argue exceeded them. I already touched on the fact that he's nearly leading points per game for this squad. He's being the playmaker we needed that Joe Girard can't be. He's really good steals as well, so great signs from him on top of all the other freshmen.
Judah Mintz has really been a playmaker for Syracuse this season, and in last game against Florida State in the first half, just 2 points. Jim Boeheim at the break went up to him and said, hey, just attack the basket. Just go to the basket. And Judah Mintz talked about it after the game and said that really helped him out because he can attack the basket. He could really penetrate to the rim, and Jim Boeheim said that he's one of the best drivers he's ever coached after the game. So that's really high praise for the point guard for Syracuse. And you said it, right? Malik Brown, aggressive, really strong there. Chris Bell, defensively, hear Jim Boeheim talk about it after almost every game. Doesn't grab rebounds or maybe doesn't fight back defensively. Leo, you talked about it earlier in the show. 14 seconds against Virginia taken out. But does Chris Bell get taken out 14 seconds in this game against 22nd ranked NC State? Does Syracuse come out on top? Who wins in the Dome?
You know, I think he'll get to play a little bit longer, but this NC State Wolfpack squad is just too good for Syracuse. I'm going to give the Wolfpack the win 90-77. We've already touched on how guard heavy they are, how much that benefits them going forward. And They're playing against that 2-3 zone. They're just going to get the light shot out of them completely by all of these guards. It's not going to be very pretty at all in the Dome.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Leo. Not going to be pretty at all because Syracuse doesn't match up well. This NC State team likes to run, take plenty of shots, and this is a slow Syracuse team that their only chance is dominating the paint, and I don't think that's going to happen. NC State's going to run away by double digits here. I don't think Syracuse has much of a shot, sadly.
I also agree with you, Jack. I don't think Syracuse comes away with this win. I also think that NC State just totally dominates. I think the Wolfpack take this one by double digits. I got 86-72. You talked about Terquavion Smith leads the conference in scoring, leads the team in scoring as well. If that's the case, nearly 19 points per game. He's going to have a day against this 2-3 zone. They just have simply no answer for the NC State guard. But that's all the time we have here on Cuse Countdown. From Jack Gordon and Leo Silverman, I'm Ben Spector saying so long, sit back on Tuesday, and you enjoy that game.